Just one roster note. So today, Jarrisburg, we put on PUP, and look, we'll work day to day with him. And I think the good news is it's going to be sooner than later. I think I don't want to put a time on it, but his progress is, I would say, ahead of schedule. And until we take him off PUP, he can't participate, obviously, in any of the team drills or practice drills. So still just getting it to where we feel like it's 100%, and then clearly before we leave here, he'll be back on the roster. It's just a matter of us making sure we feel that he's ready to go at 100%. There's no risk of any injury. Any questions?
Any update on his skills?
No, he had a tight quad 2 weeks ago when he was training out in San Diego, and it's the same right quad. I don't think it's real serious. I'll get some more information here with Scotty, but I know it's the right quad.
But the other guys talked about how the big benefit of it, we talked about it yesterday, the ability to this weather is obviously that he's actually going to run more here, but I don't
That was one of the items we pointed to, just the overall temperatures. It's a little bit like Oxnard, but the taxes are a little different, so it's a little bit more favorable. But the overall temperature, the average temperatures this time of the year are significantly less or different than what we're accustomed to. And yet it's going to be important that we transition into that heat. I think we'll do a good job of monitoring it. But the weather, obviously the weather this morning's practice was fantastic. Yeah, the field's held up well. I mean, whenever you're on a new grass field like this is a different type of grass than we're used to at home, which is more of a Bermuda surface. This is a little bit more of the grass a lot of us grew up on. But I thought it held up real well. I thought it was Sean. You really look at each day. Yesterday, I felt real good after the conditioning test. So we'll be out here again this afternoon. But I thought overall, guys moved around well. Without pads on, there's a little bit of a skill to learn how to practice with each other without taking guys to the ground. I thought we did a good job of handling that too.
You're back there with Brooks and Joe Morgan, catch runs. What did you see?
We've got both of them. There's a handful, not just those two, but we've got a handful of guys that they're all competing to show the ability to do that skill consistently and not just 2 out of 3 times. So it's a position battle that a lot of guys will have opportunities at. Brandon certainly, and Joe, Morris, Andy Tan. There'll be a bunch of guys that we look at and they'll have snaps throughout the preseason until we get comfortable and make a decision. So that was today's emphasis. Get the kick returners after the next practice. I think the 2012 season, injured for 13, the progress from when we finished in the spring till today has been significant. When we broke after the mini camp and kind of went through the injury report, we talked about Bird and Jenkins and Morgan. There's a handful of guys that you're anxious to see their progress in the next 5 weeks prior to the start of camp. And fortunately, all of those guys have done well. There haven't been any setbacks. Joe, I would say, particularly, really has recovered well. And look, the knee injury he had was significant. It was much more than just an ACL. And so to see him out here, to see him conditioning test and do all those things, it takes a full year. The injury he had and something. So it's good to see him running low today.
Coach had a really nice pitch in traffic going up and grabbing the ball. Is that a glimpse of just his aggressiveness as a smaller player too?
It was an interesting play because there's some different things you see on film, and it's harder for a player of his stature. The further down the field you go, oftentimes it's harder to make a place above your head. But it was a good play in traffic, and it was good to see.
Sean, how do y'all?
Man, I'll tell you what. He thought it was a little underthrown. I like him on the tee box. It was a little bootleg. But we forgot to tell Meacham not to run, and he came back and he said, "You could at least told me I didn't have to run a full speed post." So.